Sausage McMuffin with egg, sausage McMuffin with egg. Egg McMuffin, egg McMuffin. 2 for $5, 2 for $5. Wake up! It's time for breakfast at McDonald's. Mix and match your favorite breakfast sandwiches right now for just $5. Get 2 savory sausage McMuffin with egg sandwiches, or 2 classic egg McMuffin sandwiches, or 1 of each. Dreams do come true. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Limited time only. Single item at regular price.
You're listening to the BBM Global Network with 25 years in broadcast audio and video production. Our passionate team creates content and marketing for the world of Internet Talk Radio. If you've got a passion, come join us at bbmglobalnetwork.com. The BBM Global Network. Your voice is now heard.
This is Dancing with Words, Dancing with Wisdom, with your host, Dr. Janet Smith Warfield. Dr. Janet explores the meanings of our challenging and ecstatic life experiences, clarifies the meanings of words we use, opens up our minds to more freedom and choice, and offers insights into our everyday lives. Please welcome the host of Dancing with Words, Dancing with Wisdom, Dr. Janet Smith Warfield.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Janet Smith Warfield with my guest, Ava Charlotte. This is Dancing with Words, Dancing with Wisdom. We're live streaming on BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio. I am excited this morning to be speaking with this particular guest. Ava is an acclaimed facilitator of transformation. She inspires deep and lasting change through her presence, her wisdom, and her ability to allow existence itself to flow through her, so that those who are in her presence can live a more empowered, happy, productive, and peaceful life. She has created Rise, which we'll talk about a little bit later, and she is currently actively facilitating and the founder of Global Peacemakers. We invite you to join that group and contribute, what you have to contribute to co-creating world peace. Welcome, Ava. How are you?
Thank you, Janet. I'm fantastic. I'm excited as well. It'll be really fun to be here with you, all of you.
And Ava and I met in New Zealand a little over a year ago. Let's start with a very deep and serious topic. And it's interesting to me, the various words that you and I together have stuck on this. You talked, I think, about, your brush with the angel of death. And I think instead of flirting with the angel of death, a little different energy there. You were also using words like you thought you were involved in sophisticated suicide attempts. Why don't you tell us, begin by telling us some of these absolutely stunning stories, experiences in your life.
Oh, wow. So many different directions with that one. What you're referring to is what I consider a sophisticated suicide attempt is an accident I had many, many years ago while skydiving. I was 30 at the time and highly successful in my life. I was living a powerful life, and anyone who saw me would see a successful, happy, independent, strong woman. But I was miserable. Life didn't make sense to me at all. And I really didn't want to be here. I did, but I couldn't make sense of it. So and I felt I had tried everything to really be truly happy, not the facade and the story of being happy, but really being at peace and content and fulfilled with whatever is going on and the state of the world and how people live their lives, including myself, out of fear and protecting me and mine and all of that. None of it made sense to me. And I had this moment in skydiving where in the plane on the way up, I had a vision where I saw myself skydiving and having to pull the reserve. And in this vision, I knew I was dying because when the reserve parachute breaks, there is nothing to save you. But the choice I was placed with in this vision was, do you want to live or die? And choose now, because you only have seconds until you hit the ground. And to my utmost surprise, it was clear to me that I wanted to live, and it had nothing to do with fear of death. It was love of life. And in a hologram, I saw how I was living my life from a place of victimhood and powerlessness, and there was no judgment of that. It was just very clear that, oh my God, I'm alive, but I'm not living my life. And it was so clear, I really want to live my life, and I'm here to really, and I didn't quite know what that was, but I knew I was here for something. And I made a choice. I'm still in the plane, I'm dreaming. And I made a choice in a way I had never made a choice before. With all of my presence, all of my power, I want to live. There was no doubt, no hesitations, no conditions, like none of that. It was just, I want to live, full on. And then I did add a condition because my logical mind still knew that hitting the ground without a functioning reserve parachute, I would be crippled, and I didn't want that. So I added, and I wanted to have a healthy body. And then my rational mind caught up with me and pushed this story out of my head and started focusing on jumping out of the airplane. It never occurred to me to not jump. It never occurred to me. Someone asked me that question years later, why did you jump? And I was stunned by the question because it had never occurred to me. So I did jump, and exactly that happened. I had to pull my reserve, and it broke. And there was a moment of complete fear, nothing but fear, and then that shifted. The fear felt like forever, but it can only have been seconds because the falling time is very short, maybe 15 seconds once the parachute is out. And then the fear just went away, and what I experienced was something that changed my life. I had glimpses of it, but all of a sudden, I was fine. I was completely at peace, completely content, happy. And the upcoming death of my physical body was irrelevant. It didn't matter at all. I was fine. My body was about to die, but I was fine. It changed everything. And I smacked into the ground. I survived. It's a long story. I didn't get hurt at all. It's a miracle. It was a total miracle. That's a story of its own. But it changed me. And I realized that I had pulled this situation in because I really kept saying, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. And then I was presented with a choice. Okay, you say you don't want to be here. Choose. And I chose, and life responded accordingly. So not only did I get to experience that I'm something other than this human, I got to experience that I had the power to actually choose and manifest and create in my life. It changed everything, Janet.
I get that, because I too was once at a point where I had to make that kind of a choice. It was either you roll over and die, or you pick yourself up and you take the next step. And
Exactly.
I chose to pick myself up and take the next step.
So did
And we
I.
won't go into my story here, because I want to hear more of your stories. I'm just interested. We have a short time here before our break, but in terms of, actually, let's end it right here, and then we'll move into the next segment, because you have a couple more stories around this sophisticated suicide attempt, as you put it, or your brushes with angels of death. I'm Dr. Janet Smith Warfield. This is Dancing with Words, Dancing with Wisdom with Ava Charlotte. And we're on BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
Dr. Rob Moyer is the director of the Ocean River Institute, and he is passionate about saving the ocean by helping dolphins suffering from nitrogen pollution. Nitrogen is a dangerous pollutant affecting our oceans, altering ocean ecosystems, and contributing to global warming. The Ocean River Institute provides opportunities to make a difference and encourages people to go the distance for savvy stewardship of a greater and bluer planet Earth. Partnered with organizations from Massachusetts to Florida, Alaska to the Caribbean, the Ocean River Institute's mission is to foster involvement in conservation and environmental monitoring by facilitating grassroots efforts at local and regional levels.
Hello, I'm Rob Moyer of the Ocean River Institute. Please visit our website at oceanriver.org. Sign up for free e-alerts. You may call us at 617-661-6647. Our email address is info@oceanriver. Become informed and then act with us. Thank you.
Joseph A. Moylan is the owner of Ion Health, which specializes in very unique medical devices. Ion Health offers biomats, alkalife, and frequency machines. Biomats are a far infrared and negative ion emitting FDA-approved medical device. With many different sizes available, you can place them on your bed, on a massage table, or on a seat in your car. It is an unobtrusive way to health. Alkalife machines are water ionizers that cleanse and raise the alkalinity of your tap water, making high alkaline water. Frequency machines utilize certain frequencies to kill viruses and bacteria. These devices are safe and effective. Coming from a health-conscious background and studying physiology at the Academy of Natural Health, Joseph A. Moylan has 15 years of experience in the health field and wants to help you live a healthy, long life. Visit www.ionhealthbiomats.weebly.com or call 765-520-2988. Don't let your health go astray. Get in touch today.
You're listening to Dancing with Words, Dancing with Wisdom. I'm Dr. Janet Smith Warfield with my guest, Ava Charlotte. And you're listening to us on BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio. Before we go into your second story, Ava, just a quick question about these words that we're using. You talk about your brush with the angel of death, which sounds like a much more passive interaction to me. And I see you as flirting with the angel of death as you're trying to decide whether to stay in this physical world or leave, whether you want to live or to die. Is there different energy for you between those two concepts? Brushing
There is.
with the angel?
Yes. Oh, yes. Very much so. Oh, yes. When I used those words in our communication, it was really in reference to the story I just told with the skydiving accident. And back then, it was very unaware and very passive, because that's how I lived my life. And I wasn't looking consciously for death. I wasn't aware I was pulling that in by saying, I don't want to be here. It was just so much confusion. And really, the word passivity that you're using is perfect. And the concept of death as something I would walk together with through life wasn't available in my conscious mind at all. But through that experience and having a brush with death and realizing that what will die is my physical form, not me. It became like all my fear of death went away just like that. It was never really strong in the first place, but for the physical being, it's always strong. The animal, the human wants to live. But all of my mind-based fear was absolutely gone. And after that experience, I feel I have had more of a dancing with the angel of death. Like death is something that walks. Life and death is really so much part of our physical experience here. And I am life itself. I cannot die. That's my belief. So the physical birth and the physical death of my body is something that is beautiful, both of them. And by being close to death in every moment makes my life richer, and I can all die at any moment in time. Any moment. I might not expect to die right now, but it could happen. And having that very close and dancing with it, being intimate with it is now in my life today. It's something it's very present. It's very intimate. I, as a life, I am very much here in my physical being and perceiving and being with whatever is coming up in my physicality, whether it's physical or emotional or mental. And it's an intimate dance all the time. And life and death is coming and going because a belief can come up, be birthed, or it can die. Physical pain can be birthed and can die. Like life and death is so present all the time in this physical reality. And it has become a joy for me now to be with that and see things be birthed or die. A creation. I'm trying to create something, and it's birthed through me, and it's like a little baby, and it starts growing up, and maybe it comes all the way to adulthood, or maybe it doesn't. Maybe it dies before them, and there is no longer an attachment to my creations or my beliefs or my pains or whatever it is. They come and they go. It's like clouds in the sky or waves in the ocean, and being able to be very intimate with whatever it is, whether it's coming or going, and enjoying both sides of that is a completely different way of life that I had no connection or awareness of back in the days of the skydiving when I've talked about it as a brush with death. That language belongs there.
A couple more questions here. As we were talking before this program, we're communicating back and forth, and we did have some frustrations there. I kept wondering whether Mercury was in retrograde and didn't have a chance to check. But one thought that came into my mind at that point was the Tibetan Book of the Dead, which is all about death and rebirth. And it's a process that provides an opportunity to recognize the true nature of our minds. First of all, are you familiar with the Tibetan Book of the Death? And secondly, do you have any comments about that thought?
I am familiar with the book, yes. That question is a big question.
I know.
Getting to know our mind is crucial in my point of view. Getting to understand our humanness is life-altering. Having the awareness that I am not my human forms changes everything. And getting to understand how my body, my emotions, and my mind are all part of this physical reality. They are of this world of matter. I am not. And my body, mind, and emotions will always be affected by this physical reality because they belong here. They're part of it. So whatever is going on around me or within me will affect my body, mind, and emotions and be affected by. And I am something else. There's a topic we can go deeper in if you want, but we only have a little bit for the break. So.
Yeah, we can. Unfortunately, we have to break, but you've got to come back and hear the rest of this fascinating conversation. I'm Dr. Janet Smith Warfield. You're listening to Dancing with Words, Dancing with Wisdom on BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
Renaissance woman, trailblazer, maverick. Those are just some of the words to describe Tashandra Poulard, owner and CEO of House of Virgo Entertainment, LLC, a woman minority veteran-owned entertainment company based in Washington, D.C. Ms. Poulard served 10 years honorably in the United States Navy and departed from active duty to pursue her dreams of becoming an entertainment mogul. House of Virgo Entertainment offers script writing, producing, directing, DJ services, editing, and more. They cater to businesses, corporations, college students, working professionals, aspiring artists, and nonprofit organizations, and employ veterans of the armed forces. Tashandra Poulard is pioneering the way we view media and taking her brand global. Visit her at www.houseofvirgoentertainment.com or call 281-515-3740 and like her on Facebook at House of Virgo Entertainment, LLC.
Certified professional coach Pamela Reeves can help you with your relationships. Motivational and image coaching are just some of the ways she can help you enhance all aspects of your life. Her book, Is It Love or Merely a Sick Attachment?, helps readers clearly distinguish healthy, loving relationships from toxic ones. Ms. Reeves has put her words into action through Ray of Hope Kenya, an international initiative that provides outreach to victims of abusive relationships there with the goal of helping them rebuild their lives and the tools to avoid abuse. Ms. Reeves operates various business interests through her umbrella network, Nella LLC, and credits her success to her diverse work experience. Whatever your goals, whether striking a balance, reinventing your image, or simply lifting your lifestyle, Pamela Reeves will help you achieve them. Your life, your call. Dial 410-902-5715 or email Pamela at pamregon@verizon.net. She's also on the web at pamreeves.com and on Twitter at Pamela_Reeves.
You're listening to Dancing with Words, Dancing with Wisdom. I'm Dr. Janet Smith Warfield. We are on BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio. One more question I wanted to ask you, Ava, before we move on to your second story. There's a sense, it seems to me, in which you hit a sudden turning point where physical death, and I think you said this earlier, physical death is irrelevant because you are somehow connected with infinite life and infinite energy. Would you agree with that? Do you have any comments about that?
I would phrase it differently. I agree, but I would phrase it differently. I would say that I am infinite life. We all are. And it's not something I connect to because it's what I am. And it has always been present in my life. I just wasn't putting my attention on it, which is what most of us do. We put our attention on this worldly world that we're in, this reality of physicality and other human beings and work and pleasures and adventures and pains and joys and all of that. That's where their attention is. And essence, life, present, is somehow overlooked, for lack of a better word. But it's always there. And my skydiving accident made me so aware of, oh my God, there is this whole other way of being. If I can be falling to my death and be completely at peace, why would I ever worry about not having enough money or my boyfriend saying something that I feel offended by, or whatever little silly thing in this world? Why do I let these things upset me if I can be falling to my death and be fine? So my life quest became about returning to that place. I want to live like that. I want to live being what I am, not what I'm pretending to be, what I think I am. I want to live with awareness and consciousness of me as presence, as a life, not as this human personality called Eva with all her beliefs of being good at these things or bad at those things. And I do now much, much more. Not fully and completely. I still get pulled by the world, but I know how to open myself up again to all that I am and let that flow through me as opposed to my personality running the show. I've switched the drivers of my vehicle, so to speak. And it's so much more fun way of living. I do not want to go back. I do occasionally, and then now I can enjoy that also. Oh, look at what I'm doing. This is fascinating.
And you also know, I believe, how to flip yourself back into this state of presence. Let's talk about that a little bit. I was in India in February with Andrew Harvey, and one of the things that really impressed me about the Indian culture was there are some gurus in India who, I'll use that word, teach very advisedly. I don't really like that word a lot. I like the word educate a lot better, because to educate is to draw out something that is already there and bring it into the light, whereas teaching kind of has a top-down feel to it of, this is what you've got to learn conceptually. This is what you've got to do. So I like the word educate. But in India, there were gurus who, and I'll put the word in quotes, educated simply by being present. As Ram Dass would say, be here now. Do you have any comments about that? Any additions, any rephrasings you'd like to do?
Well, in many ways, that's the most powerful. Well, personally, I think that is the most powerful way to teach, and something that I see as much part of what I do as well, that being present and staying in presence, even if my humanity, my human aspect is having physical pain or emotional pain or stories, I can still be in presence. It's not necessarily about no longer having all those human things coming up. I think that's possible. That's one way of living. But there's also a way of living with presence as the main energy, and everything else is arising within presence. So if I have fear coming up, fear is present in my physicality, and I am aware of it. It doesn't mean I have to become afraid. The fear is not pulling me into the reality. I can still stay in presence. And it's not about being separated and pulled back. It's about being incredibly present and intimate with the fear, but not allowing the fear to take me over. So by being able to be in presence through all of that humanity, I feel that is a very, very powerful way of teaching. I don't like that word either, but showing the way, sharing my presence so others can feel their presence through my presence. That's how I found my way back to my presence, by being with individuals who are able to just be present and stepping into that field. It's incredible. And I could, as I was learning it for myself, I could feel it when I stepped into other people's presence, and how there was a moment of discombobulation and fear and discomfort, and all my stuff was coming up, and then, it's just peace, and so comfortable to be there. And then stepping back out, I would carry it with me, and then it would dissipate because I wasn't able to stay in my own. And over time, by being in presence, I was able to find my way back to myself, me, I, as presence. There is something to be said for the spoken word. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that I think that word being almost by itself holds the energy. Being in whatever physical aspect of beingness that our physical lives, emotional lives, mental lives happen to pull us in a particular moment. Being there, noticing it, and then making conscious choices about the next step. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? And we don't have much time.
No, we don't. Not for the break. I think it's important to come to a place where you can be with whatever is. So whether it's what's arising in your own physical being, physical, emotional, mental, or whatever is arising around you, just being able to be okay with that and still stay in your own center in acceptance. Doesn't mean it's not hurting, doesn't mean any of that, but you can be there.
I like that. You're listening to Ava Charlotte on Dancing with Words, Dancing with Wisdom. I'm Dr. Janet Smith Warfield. We are on BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
For over 50 years, Evelyn Stapula has been a loving advocate for people with disabilities throughout the state of Pennsylvania. President and founder of Big Heart Bridges, her organization actively campaigns for legislation and support of civil liberties that meet the needs of disabled individuals with housing, transportation, and employment. Ms. Stapula has joined forces with a variety of esteemed organizations that advocate for the disabled. She serves on the board of the United Cerebral Palsy of Pittsburgh and the Governor's Cabinet and Advisory Committee for People with Disabilities, and she is a consultant for the Pennsylvania Governor's Conference for Women. Her many efforts have led to the implementation of a transportation program for the disabled with the Access Paratransit System of Allegheny County. Evelyn Stapula strives daily to serve the interests of the disabled, to protect their freedoms, and enable them to live normal public lifestyles. To learn more, please call 412-491-2605 or email Evelyn at ers92645@verizon.net.
This is Dr. Janet Smith Warfield with Ava Charlotte. You're listening to Dancing with Words, Dancing with Wisdom. We are on BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio. Ava, let's switch directions a little bit and talk about your second brush with the angel of death, Lyme disease.
Oh, God. Yeah, I've had many powerful and ruthless through love teachers, but nothing like Lyme disease. It's the most powerful teacher I've ever had, and a true gift. I don't wish it on anyone, but it's been my greatest teacher. I had reached a place in my life after the skydiving, many years after I had done all the work. I had reached a place where I felt I really lived what I had experienced in the skydiving accident. I was so happy, content with my life, could stay in the center regardless of what was going on. I was calm, centered, happy, no matter what. Very little could pull me out of my center, and living an amazing life and traveling the world and teaching and great family and all of that. And then I got sick. And a friend of mine who also has Lyme, he shares a story of, he had a dream once he got diagnosed with Lyme. And the dream is how he's driving his car and it gets hijacked. And the people who hijack the car throw him in the trunk, locks the trunk, and then they're driving around his car. And they impersonate him, so other people think it is him driving the car. It looks like him, but he's in the trunk. banging to get out. Help, help, I'm in here, let me out. And that's exactly how it feels. I cried when he shared that. That's exactly how it feels. So I was I was always within me, but this bacteria and virus is like an invader into my physical body and into my central nervous system and brain, and it literally takes over and runs the vehicle, the body, and the emotions, and the thoughts. So all of a sudden, I went from being calm, centered, and happy almost all the time to being reactive and paranoid and crying all the time. And my loved ones were, what's going on with you? Completely changed my personality. And I'm terrified. I'm not doing it. What's going on with me? It was terrifying. I had no control over it. Zero. And I had all the tools of how to manage my emotions and my thinking and bringing myself back to center and all of that. None of it worked. Absolutely terrifying. And it's a long story, and it just escalated, and my life fell apart, and I literally did not know what to do. I had tried, quote unquote, everything with medical solutions. Nothing worked, and I was at rock bottom, and alone in an apartment that wasn't mine, no place to live, no work, no money, like all of that. I was crying all the time and completely paranoid and no control over my thinking. So I couldn't control my mind. Bacteria was controlling my mind. And without your mind, there is nothing to create with. And I knew all this. So if I can't control it, I'm at a loss for what to do with it. And I ended up being invited by circumstances that came my way to go to the jungle of Peru, to a shaman there. And he was like my last straw to get help. And before going there, I wrote a will, and I had a very clear, very, very clear choice again. I'm going to the jungle, and if that doesn't shift things, I'm not coming back. I cannot live like this. And people around me who see these things and know these things, they would ask me, are you going home? Right? Are you leaving? Like they could see that I was opening up to check out. And I had a close friend who did a healing on me, something called egg cleansing. That's very traditional in Mexico and South America. And he later told me when I had come back and decided to stay, he later told me that last cleansing he did, he could see that energetically I was already checking out. I was pulling my energies out and leaving. And it was much, much, much more painful than the skydiving accident. The skydiving accident was something that I wasn't really aware of. I wasn't aware that I was creating it, and I wasn't aware that I made a choice to. I didn't shift myself as I was falling from fear to presence. That was not something I did consciously at all, and there was no thoughts or emotions or anything around it. This time around was very much the same thing, but now I was so much more aware, and I had to be with it all, which was very different. Very, very different. The first one was very physical. This one was much, 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 much more emotional. All of that was there. Very, very confusing and painful and rich with life, as opposed to separated from life.
What flipped the Lyme disease around? From hindsight, is there any one thing you can point to?
Inner work.
Was it again a choice to live? A choice to live again?
Well, going to the jungle this was, like I said, it was chaotic, and mentally it was very chaotic, emotionally it was chaotic, and making the choice, I'm not coming back if it doesn't change, and then being submerged in the jungle with no running water, no electricity, someone who only speaks Spanish and I don't really, and just being in something so rich as the jungle that's very alive and present. It's so present. And being with myself and just doing these, he was treating me with all his plants, and one of them was ayahuasca, which I never had any desire to do anything like that and never had. But oh my God, it changed my life. I went from being so sick to feeling my old self again. It came back. The bacteria wasn't eradicated from my body, so it came back, but it never came back as badly. And I go regularly to treat myself, and it makes all the difference. So from using something external, it was plant medicine that made a difference. But honestly, I feel that my inner work has been the core thing. What it really showed me was how, well, gosh, that's a story in itself. We have to get back to that, Janet. We won't have time before the break. Let's revisit this one.
You've been listening to Ava Charlotte on Dancing with Words, Dancing with Wisdom. I'm your host, Dr. Janet Smith Warfield. We're on BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
Essential Nutrients LLC is the brainchild of entrepreneur Barbara Burns. Inspired by a desire to help others, Barbara worked with a team of scientists to develop unique nutritional liquid supplements with the goal to improve the quality of your life. Glucosamine, zinc, and calcium are essential to well-being, and this is the focus of Essential Nutrients LLC. Whether you're a professional athlete, weekend warrior, student, business owner, or homemaker, Essential Nutrients offers products for everyone, including the family pet. And they're easy to take, no pills. Health requires commitment, exercise, a good diet, proper supplementation, and action. So take action today and get your supply of essential liquid nutrients by visiting www.essential-liquids.com. Don't put off your health any longer. Take essential products today and start to measure the difference.
Unleash the obstacles that bind you with certified professional coach Joanne Charette, a master practitioner in energy leadership. Joanne can help you break through personal and professional barriers and guide you to a higher level of empowerment and fulfillment. Passionate and dedicated, Joanne engages with her clients on a mutual journey. Her dynamic energy will motivate you to move forward as you partner on a venture to greater results. Isn't it time to make a breakthrough and commit to live the life you deserve? Invest in yourself and let Joanne Charette be the catalyst to the realization of your dreams by making them a reality. Based in Quebec, Canada, Joanne is also a space coach, using social media and Skype to work with anyone, anywhere around the world. Contact Joanne Charette today at 819-360-3266 or email her at actionrealization@live.ca. 819-360-3266. Now is your time.
I'm Dr. Janet Smith Warfield. I'm speaking with Ava Charlotte on Dancing with Words, Dancing with Wisdom, BBM Global Network, and TuneIn Radio. So I think there were a few thoughts before the break that you didn't have an opportunity to finish, Ava. Actually, there are probably a ton of thoughts that you didn't have an opportunity to finish. Would you like to tie them together now?
Yes, there was just one thing around this second encounter in dance and intimate beingness with my death. And before I got Lyme disease, I had trained so powerfully in how to be with my mind and my emotions, my thoughts, my emotions, my physical being, and I knew how to stay in the center of the hurricane. And then Lyme came along, and I couldn't. And I had all the tools, and none of it made sense to me. I have the tools, and why can't I? And through Lyme, I realized that how I was using these tools was controlling my thoughts and emotions. I would feel something arise within me, and I would say, nope, not going there. And I would suppress it or bypass it or walk around it. I wouldn't be present with it. And through Lyme, there was no longer any way to avoid the physicality of a human form with all of what that is, physical being, emotions, and emotions. I had to be with it, or I had to check out. And I contemplated checking out again and decided, no, I need to move through this. And I kept pushing and doing and trying to fix it. And like, I'm a powerful being. I know I can fix this. And I couldn't. And it wasn't until I came into a state of surrender and acceptance that things started to change. And I realized that is what happened in my skydiving accident. I was falling to my death, and there was nothing I could do. And my humanness surrendered, accepted. And at the moment my humanness, physical form, personality, Eva, said, I can't do anything, I'm surrendering. Presence was presence. And I was at peace and happy and content. And as I started doing that consciously, because of Lyme, everything started to change. Lyme came along to show me the way back beyond the doingness and the control that I still held on to. I thought I needed to do it, and I being persona. And persona is not what has nothing to do with present. It cannot even comprehend it. The concept, what we think we are, is the persona. What we really are is present. And Lyme brought me there. I had to surrender. I couldn't fix it. And that little by little by little has brought me back to presence. And it's just like the most amazing gift ever.
And there's a sense, there's a sense, it seems to me, in which that is just amazingly freeing, because once you,
oh my God,
once you accept that, first of all, you do not know how many physical years you've been given. You do not know when your physical body is going to die, which frees you up to live whatever time you have, whatever time you've been given, as fully and completely as possible.
Exactly.
Let's there are a couple of directions I could go from here. Either into your third dancing with the angel of death in Ecuador, your heart failure, or we could talk a little bit about worldly power versus spiritual power. Which way would you like to move on this?
Oh, gosh. So let's do a quick around the third brush, and then we can go into the other one.
If we have time.
Yeah. Well, let's see. So I had the first brush with death, or dance with death, in my skydiving accident, which was very physical. And then this whole Lyme journey, which in a way was very mental, because it got me to see how I was controlling everything through my mind still. And then in Ecuador, not that long ago, last year, I had heart failure. And I had something called cardiomyopathy, which they don't really know, but I think it's related to extreme emotional stress. And I wasn't really in extreme emotional stress. What I understood from what was happening was that the extreme emotional stress I had felt with Lyme and how my life fell apart, which was excruciatingly painful, I couldn't handle it back then. So I just internalized it, and I held it, and I closed my heart because I felt betrayed and backstabbed and from outside and myself. And it was just a horrendous hugely painful time in my life. And once I was ready to open up and release that pain, and it flooded through my physical form, it nearly killed me. And I ended up in intensive care for 3 days and in a hospital for a week, and they wouldn't let me leave the country because I couldn't fly and all of that. But the release of that energy and what was coming out of me was fascinating. And it became so clear through my own experience of how we hold our emotional pain in our physical forms and how they affect everything. If they are not allowed to move through us, we hold them and they zipper out. I would have, from the time of Lyme to my heart experience, there was an energy present in me that I wasn't used to. And I would put it down as Lyme, like I felt possessed by this energy. Possessed is not a good word, but I was an energy present that would affect everything. And once it released, I was back to being happy again.
Ha! You're listening to Ava Charlotte. I'm your hostess, Dr. Janet Smith Warfield, on Dancing with Words, Dancing with Wisdom on BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
Animal lover, author, artist, and public speaker, Patricia Daly-Lipe is a Renaissance woman in her own right. A lover of animals from a young age, Patricia lives on a farm in Virginia and has rescued neglected thoroughbred horses, keeping them or finding them safe havens. She is also a published author, and her books document real-life experiences that she shares in her passionate stories, taking the reader around the world in a colorful kaleidoscope of life. An accomplished artist, Patricia Daly-Lipe's oil paintings feature animals, portraits, stills, nature, and abstract, and she allows the brush to paint the image in an organic, natural way. A public speaker, Patricia is motivated to continually wonder about life and advocates for all of us to do the same and document our own unique history. To learn more about Patricia Daly-Lipe, visit www.literarylady.com and www.patricialipe.com or email her at pdlipe@gmail.com.
Hello, I'm Steve Fagan, and I'm president and CEO of Fagan Associates, but I'm also a life coach. I'm here to help you reach your dreams, goals, and objectives. As a life coach, it's my job to be your support, to be your teammate, to help you understand what is your dream, what is your life passion, and then together we work as that team to help you reach your specific goals. Life is worth living the best you can be. Working with a life coach, you're fulfilling those dreams and goals is your passion, and it's your way of living. Let me help you do that today. Let me help you really reach the best that you can be as a person and live the life you should be living. I'm Steve Fagan. I'm a life coach, and I'm here for you.
Contact Steve Fagan at FaganandAssociatesInc.com or call 1-800-239-2701.
And I'll be glad to help you move forward to live the life of success. Reach your dreams, your goals, your objectives. We can do it together.
Dr. Janet Smith Warfield on Dancing with Words, Dancing with Wisdom with my guest Ava Charlotte. We are on BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio. So we have a very short period of time left, Ava. How would you like to wrap this up or finalize this or focus our conversation today?
Well, for me, it's been beautiful to see how my desire to live as an authentic being, that's always been my desire from very early in my life, and how life has brought me all these different experiences, and not always fun experiences, but like excruciatingly painful at times, and skydiving accidents and Lyme disease and heart failure. But there's clearly a path of getting to see my physicality and that I'm not the body, and then getting to know my mind and my emotions, and all of that bringing me back to presence, being able to live present in this moment, okay with whatever is. And there's nothing like it. And it's available to all of us. And it's simple. Doesn't mean it's easy, but it's simple. And just having that awareness and that desire to be okay with whatever is in this moment changes everything.
And I couldn't agree more with that. Ava, I mean, there's so much we didn't touch on here, but I really want to thank you for a very deep and meaningful conversation on the areas that we did touch on. Next week, I would like to invite our audience to join me when I interview another fascinating woman. Her name is Marilyn Nyborg. She's worked with Jean Houston, among many other people. She's written a book called Women Waking the World. And I often think that actually should be women waking up, women doing their inner work, women stepping into their own power, and then using all that inner work and that inner power to wake the entire world into a vibrant, dynamic, interactive, co-creative, peaceful, powerful planet, which is what together we can co-create here if each person does his or her own inner work first. And that does mean releasing the fear. Let's use the word terror. Releasing the terror. Releasing the terror. Transforming the rage and the shame and using it with focus and intention to co-create the kind of world in which we want to live. I'm Dr. Janet Smith Warfield with Dancing with Words, Dancing with Wisdom. We're on BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
This has been Dancing with Words, Dancing with Wisdom with your host, Dr. Janet Smith Warfield. Listen each week as Dr. Janet uses words in atypical ways to shift you into experiences beyond words and transforming turmoil into inner peace. Here on Dancing with Words, Dancing with Wisdom.
You've been listening to the BBM Global Network. The ideas, views, and opinions of this broadcast are those of the participants of the program and are not necessarily the ideas, views, and opinions of the BBM Global Network Company.
Sausage McMuffin with egg, sausage McMuffin with egg. Egg McMuffin, egg McMuffin. 2 for $5, 2 for $5. Wake up! It's time for breakfast at McDonald's. Mix and match your favorite breakfast sandwiches right now for just $5. Get 2 savory sausage McMuffin with egg sandwiches, or 2 classic egg McMuffin sandwiches, or 1 of each. Dreams do come true. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Limited time only. Single item at regular price. Sausage McMuffin with egg, sausage McMuffin with egg. Egg McMuffin, egg McMuffin. 2 for $5, 2 for $5. Wake up! It's time for breakfast at McDonald's. Mix and match your favorite breakfast sandwiches right now for just $5. Get 2 savory sausage McMuffin with egg sandwiches, or 2 classic egg McMuffin sandwiches.